Hey, Janice.
Any?
Today we're going to talk about states with high income taxes. So I'm pretty sure you want to pay less taxes, right? I mean, everyone does, yeah?
Yeah.
And we recently talked about one great tip, the stepped up basis technique for avoiding big chunks of taxes. But another easy hack, I don't know what to call it, choice for us everyday people to get big tax breaks is to choose where you live wisely.
Very interesting. So today we're going to talk about highest income tax states, lowest income tax states, and then no income tax states.
And then lastly, make sure you stick around because we'll factor in sales tax for a more complete tax picture, not just income tax, because we all buy stuff, presumably.
Oh, yes, we do. So don't forget to get on the list for new books coming out. Be the first to hear. AnthonySpark.com/join.
Cool. Let's get started. I will start us off with the highest income tax states. This is not necessarily in order, but it is loosely in order. Go ahead and look it up if you want to find the exact order. The highest income tax states starts with California.
Shocking.
La La Land, Hollywood, figures, right? I mean,
Right.
There you go. Next is Hawaii. So have you ever been to Hawaii, Janice?
Oh, no, it's on the bucket list.
Okay. When you go to Hawaii, when you talk to your you're going for sure.
Right. Okay.
When
Sure.
you go
Sure.
and when you talk to locals, be it your cab driver, your waiter, or whatever, it's been my experience that they always complain about how expensive everything is. It's like instead of how's the weather, I guess because the weather's always nice there, it's like how much was the milk
Hawaii,
today? Or
right.
did you see how much gas costs? They're always talking about how much stuff costs. So the fact that they have high taxes as well is no surprise there.
Right, right.
The next highest one, I think this is actually the third highest income tax state, is Oregon. Oregon. That's my first surprise. Why? I know it's on the coasts and everyone talks about the coastal elites and whatnot, but I don't think people consider Oregon. Is Microsoft in Oregon technically, or I thought that was Seattle? Maybe that's why. Or
Yeah.
Amazon. I don't know.
No idea.
All right. Then my second surprise, Minnesota. Minnesota has a high income tax? Why? To pay for snowplows? I mean,
wow.
the Mall of America? Am I offending Minnesotians? I hope not.
I don't know. That's the only thing I knew to do there. Like, we just went to the Mall of America like 6 times when I was out there for training. That's all we
Laura
had.
Cowan. Laura Cowan is from Minnesota. Help us out. Why
Okay.
is Minnesota so high with income taxes? Then you have New Jersey. New Jersey has higher income taxes than New York. That seems like a
shocking.
total case of what do you call that? Where the younger sibling has want to one up the older sibling.
Wow.
I'm insulting all the states, but anyway, Washington D.C. has very high income taxes. I didn't know that. So at the very least, the politicians are also taxing themselves. So that kind of feels good, actually.
Okay. That's good. That levels it out a little bit.
I guess. So New York is here, of course. New York's always going to be highest on a bunch of stuff, but it's surprisingly low in terms of where it ranks with all these other states. So that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And then lastly, to round off the list of highest state income tax states, there's Iowa, Vermont, and Wisconsin. Iowa, Vermont, and Wisconsin. I'm just perplexed. I thought it would be totally just all coasts. So
Right.
I have no idea.
Interesting. So I'll break down a couple of the lowest income tax states.
Nice.
One, Pennsylvania. Here I am. But so it's interesting because it is the lowest one, but there's so many other taxes. Like, for example, don't come here and smoke and drink because the taxes on both are incredible. Even soda. So if you go, do you know this? If you go into Philadelphia, there's a soda tax.
Oh, I saw something.
It
about
is, yeah. So it's 30 cents for every 20 ounces. So you go buy a 2 liter of soda, which would normally be like $2. It's a whole $1 of tax. So consider where you, right. So you're talking about moving into here because there's no, the low income tax, but think about where you live because you could be paying. Yeah. Think about
So
that.
in terms of Philadelphia soda tax, I saw this special there's a pizzeria in Philly that's right on the edge of the city line.
Yep.
So everyone buys their pizza there, but then crosses the street to be outside of Philly to buy their soda.
Yeah. And Wawa is our big thing, our big gas stations around here. They've closed on the outskirts of the city and moved to the other side because people were not going there. They were going over the 7-Eleven on the other side of the street. So anyway, low income tax, but
Unintended
the other
consequences, but anyway.
right, or a little bit high. So then you get to Colorado, the low income tax. So I have a little theory here. It's a new $1 billion industry that's out there since 2014. They call it cannabis. But I looked this up. This is kind of cool. $266 million in taxes and fees generated from that in 2018. So it doesn't matter what side you're on with that one.
Just from cannabis?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Just from cannabis in 2018. So if you're okay with the subject or you do it, you're fine with it, you're neutral and you like Colorado, go. I mean, it's only going to go up from there, think about that.
As the market grows. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yep. So it's only going up if you look at the trends because you have that. I mean, I know there's more and there's mountains and everything else, but it's an interesting offset, right? I mean, if you look at that. So if that brings us Indiana, I have no idea why that's the lowest. So I Googled it. I'm a Googler. And it said, so for low-income families, it's actually far from being a low-tax state because they're taxed the highest. So again, interesting. Think about how much you make before
so it
you
depends
live.
on what bracket you're in.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then there's Arizona and New Mexico. I don't know. It's hot. But if it's hot and you like hot and you're sick of the winter, head on down there. Same with Kansas is on the list. I know it's really low. I don't know what's there. And clearly I need to travel more. I think of Kansas, I mean, like tornadoes and Dorothy, so if that's your thing, head on over there, right?
Yeah.
You think, and then the last ones on the list for the lowest were Illinois, North Dakota, Michigan, and Ohio. They would have to make them low income tax states for anyone to go there. It's cold. There's snow. There's not a lot of...
Illinois kind of surprised me because, Chicago is there. It's a major city. So that one was a little surprising to me.
Yeah. But no, I don't know what else is there. So it's interesting. So if you want to go lower, you just do your
We are
research.
offending all of our listeners from not from Pennsylvania and New York, whatever.
I'm ripping on Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But it's interesting. So do your homework first and make sure you can survive in North Dakota, even though you're not paying your income tax, right? They're lower income tax. So kind of interesting. How about no income tax state?
Yeah, this is my favorite topic because the idea of not paying or even filing, the headache of filing anything at the state level would be divine.
Huge. Right.
So number one is Alaska. I'm just going to leave that there because I'm not going to Alaska anytime soon. So, but the second one is the most popular one amongst New Yorkers. It's Florida. There's a whole community called snowbirds, meaning New Yorkers who live here for the majority of the year, but then go to their summer or winter homes in Florida for the cold months. And then what happens is they eventually end up realizing, oh, if I just live here like whatever, 6 months and a day out of the year, I don't know the technical requirements, but if I live here long enough, I don't have to pay New York State income tax anymore. So that's a whole thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And thanks to Disney for that, because it's the tourism that has offset all of the taxes down there. I mean, that is what it was. I used to live down there, so I know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the Disneys and the tourism that has really taken care of all these income taxes and kept everything down.
Cool. Nevada also has no income tax. I'm not a Vegas guy, so that doesn't appeal to me. But I think Lake Tahoe is technically in Nevada, so that'd be pretty cool to live around there. Tahoe's very nice. South Dakota has no income tax, but I mean, how many times can you go visit Mount Rushmore, right? I mean,
sure, right?
Yeah. Texas has no income tax. Texas is huge, a lot of interesting cities, so that could be a cool place to retire or just move to shed your state tax burden. So Washington has no income tax, but Oregon has one of the highest ones. I mean, am I wrong? Are those two usually kind of associated with each other because they're right next to each other?
Absolutely. I would not have thought there was such a difference.
Yeah, me neither. So I'm a little confused by that. Maybe somebody local to the area can, in the comments, explain, like, does that impact how people choose between, let's say, Portland and Seattle? Or I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, lastly, no income tax in Wyoming, which I guess is more of like a ranch or open prairies kind of place. But yeah, that sounds like a nice place to retire. Is Wyoming cold, do you know, or is it more neutral?
I have no idea. I don't know. I just, when I think of Wyoming, I do think of the wide open, the bison roaming free.
Yeah.
That's what I think of. But again, if there's no income state tax and that's your thing, awesome. Right? So what happens when we factor in the sales tax? You talked about this.
Okay. So let's put this in the framework of choosing where to retire, right? That's usually when people start thinking about how to get rid of state income tax. But if you're going to retire and not spend any money, then these are the states for you because they have no income tax, but the sales tax is actually really high. So we talked about Washington having no state income tax, but they have really high sales tax. Did I get that right? Yeah. So Washington has no income tax, but the sales tax is super high. Texas, I didn't know this. They apparently have one of the higher sales taxes. I thought Texas was all about like, no, don't tread on me and don't taxes. Apparently they have a high sales tax. Yeah. And I didn't know Nevada had a high sales tax. I thought Nevada would be also kind of a wild, wild west kind of, not literally wild, wild west, but deregulated, not taxed kind of type area. But apparently they have a high sales tax. Then there's the states that are the real double whammies, meaning you have both high income tax and high sales tax. So you really want to live. Yeah, right. So you really want to live there. You have to really want to live there to make it kind of worth it. And kind of as expected, it's California and New York. And people want to go there for various reasons. So, and I guess the legislators know people want to be there, so they'll tax the heck out of them.
Yep.
So then there's the weird one where if you have no money but you like to shop, maybe visit to shop. Oregon has this really high income tax but zero sales tax. One of the few states with no sales tax at all. So great place to visit and shop, but maybe not to live. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like Pennsylvania. We don't have sales tax on food and clothing and then necessities. So you can go to the grocery store and you're not taxed on that. Prepared food is different, like a restaurant. But when you go to buy shoes and they're $19.99, they're just $19.99. There's no tax on those.
Oh, nice.
So we're a lower income tax state, and then some things do not have the sales tax. So it does weigh out.
And Pennsylvania has a low income tax. Is that right?
Yeah, that's one of the lowest ones. Yeah. Yep.
Nice. Cool.
Just don't buy soda.
In Philly.
Don't buy soda. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I think that's all we have. Make sure you join the email list at anthonyspark.com/join for announcements of new books coming out. Otherwise, that's it. Thanks, Janice. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Talk soon.
Talk soon.